Rodri at Manchester City, Harry Maguire at Manchester United, Nicolas Pepe at Arsenal. The wait for the Premier League is over. It is upon us. And the Belgian Grand Prix as well this weekend. Lewis Hamilton in action. Not to forget the numerous number of transfers going on in the Uganda Premier League. Welcome to the Just Darren Show, Season 3, powered by Betway.
Betway's Fort to Score is back and better than ever. Play our weekly soccer predictor where you can win your share of an amazing cash prize each week. Simply choose the first goal scorers in 4 selected matches and submit your selection before the first match kicks off. Entry is free, and if the prize isn't won, it'll roll over to the following week. Bet your way with Betway.
We are still weeks away from the new Uganda Premier League season, but clubs are busy off the field, unveiling new players, some unveiling new coaches, some changing grounds. We are told Onduparaka is moving to a place closer to Kampala, that is Bombo, and of course a team that is Police, who are shifting and taking pitching camp in Kavumba. New side in the Uganda Premier League, Wakiso Giants, have crossed and now at Wakiso Resource Center in Wakiso, and actually that's where they did play their first competitive fixture this season in the Pilsner Super 8, where they lost to KCCA 2-0. Not to forget also the transfers that are going on across the board. Players crossing from Chitende, Wankulukuku, Lugogo, here and there. Of course, the big names like Tadeo Luanga, Abdul Lumala, names like Allan Chamba, they all have headed to Egypt. Same like Emmanuel Okwi and of course Khalid Awucho. All Uganda Cranes players, 5 of them signed by 5 different clubs in the Egyptian Premier League. Not to forget, of course, the former Uganda Cranes coach, Desabre Sebastian at Pyramids. Here on the local scene, the favorite club, that is Express Football Club, of course sponsored by Betway, they're on the verge of signing some new faces, but also they've lost quite a number, including the defender, that is John Revita, who is crossed from Wankurukuku to join KCCA. We are told his sign-on fee was between 35 to 40 million Uganda shillings. And also KCCA in attempt to replace Timothy Awani, who has since left to join his new club in Israel. And KCCA will be taking on African Stars of Namibia in the CAF Champions League, while Proline, on the other hand, the FUFA Big League as well as the Uganda Cup champions, will be taking on Masters Security here this weekend in the CAF Confederation Cup. 2 Ugandan sides in action, lots of stuff going on. The latest that we've had this week is Mohamed Shaban, former striker with KCCA. He's had a stint at Raja Casablanca, has now returned home from Morocco and signed a deal worth about 140 million shillings to join Vipers on a 2-year deal. We'll wait and see which player will be shining or firing the cylinders. Not to forget also Disan Galiwango, the defender from Express, having trials at the side that is Supersport United, courtesy of Betway and of course the partners in Forward Zone. We'll be giving you all the latest on the subsequent Just Darren shows here, of course, as we gear up for the new Uganda Premier League season. Do not forget that we have all the latest and our ears on ground at Wankurukuku as Express gets set for the new Uganda Premier League season.
Jimmy really likes hard work. Really. It's how he gets better at what he does. It's how he learns. It's how he impresses people. And it's how he knows United are worth it this weekend at 3.2. Oh yes, Jimmy really likes hard work. Because hard work sometimes pays off.
Well, contrary to the first 6 races of the season, the last 3 have been quite dramatic. And of course, last weekend the drivers were in Hungary, Max Verstappen taking the pole position. Interestingly, Lewis Hamilton coming through to win that race. Now guess what? Hamilton has won 8 of the first 12 races of the season. There are 234 points to fight for, and he's already 62 points ahead of the drivers in the standings. Interesting stuff for the Mercedes driver. He's now on the verge of winning the World Championship again for the 6th time in his career. And guess what? He's now chasing a big record. Well, beginning with the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend, where Hamilton, if he wins, will be winning his 9th race of the season in 13 races so far this time round. And guess what? The record for the most races won in a season is at 13, won by Michael Schumacher in 2004, of course, winning 13 races in an 18-race season, but that was again equaled by Sebastian Vettel in 2013 when he went and won 13 races as well in a 19-round season. Can Hamilton do it again this weekend? The odds for Hamilton on www.betway.ug are 2.45 for him to win. He's arguably the favorite to win, but you can bet on the other drivers from Toro Rosso. Can Charles Leclerc finish ahead of Sebastian Vettel? Vettel did fight for the Ferrari car there. He's been doing quite well in the last 2 races, probably trying to respond to the pundits and the critics that he's supposed to be the #1 driver for the red car. Does it happen again this weekend? You can as well bet on that one on www.betway.ug. Of course, don't forget the other faces like Valtteri Bottas in the fray, among others, all driving in the Formula 1 Grand Prix. Well, it was boring at the start, but looks like there are some fresh sparks in the season. We'll wait and see. All odds for the Formula 1, by the way, available on www.betway.ug.
We're giving you the chance to boost your multi-bet winnings by up to 100%. To activate your boost, create your bet slip, check your boost, and place your bet. It's that simple. The more selections you add, the bigger your boost. Visit Betway online now. Betway, for the love of the game.
So after an 80-day wait, we are back with the English Premier League. Well, last season we had one of the most electric, or probably the best ever Premier League title race that only had a point separate the champions, Manchester City, and Liverpool, 98-97. Do we have another 100-point team this season? We wait and see. Action gets underway on Friday evening where Liverpool do entertain Norwich City at Anfield. Well, the big one comes on Sunday where Manchester United do host Chelsea. Many have dubbed it as the fixture that puts 2 old boys, or call them legends, coming together. Frank Lampard in the dugout for Chelsea and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who will be celebrating his 9th month at Old Trafford with Manchester United. And I've got 2 fans here. Jude Mugabi from Manchester United. Well, I already have a red corner here. And Mr. Edward Tumwine from the blue corner, that is Chelsea. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you.
George, you've been here
Glad
before.
To be here again.
So I should get you speaking less.
All right.
And have Edward speak more. No. But well, we'll play the cards right. Edward, I'll begin with you.
Yes.
Frank Lampard, no Premier League coaching experience.
Yes.
His debut
Yes.
at Old Trafford. Your expectations?
I can't really call it since we have not seen him in top flight management. This is his first season in the Premier League, but I believe with the experience he's bringing from League 2, I believe he will be able to mount something in the first game.
To mount something in the first game?
Yes.
Jude, do you expect any surprises from Chelsea with Frank Lampard? Frank Lampard used to hurt Chelsea more, used to hurt United more on the pitch.
On the pitch.
Now off the pitch?
I think it's going to be different as a manager. I think he's in for a rude welcome to the Premier League.
There's a saying that goes that players who are really good on the field never make good coaches. Well, Zinedine Zidane has been an exception, though many say the backbone of his team wasn't really his, probably from Carlo Ancelotti, and then he only picked up Real Madrid going on to win all those Champions League titles over the yesteryears. However, it is Lampard against Solskjaer at Old Trafford on Sunday. Frank Lampard,
Yes.
he's been unfortunate to pick up from where Maurizio Sarri left. Well, Chelsea finished the season on a high, winning the Europa League, beating Arsenal, but they haven't signed any players. Do you have any hopes that you could still make the top 4 this season?
One thing I credit Chelsea for is their loan system and their academy. I think we have the best academy in England, if I'm to say, and with the players coming back from loan and the new signing we had in January, that's Pulisic, I think we'll be able, we'll do good this season. I'm not worried so much.
But where do the goals come from? I see Eden Hazard, who scored the most goals for Chelsea. Actually, the only player who hit double digits in the Premier League for Chelsea last season is away. The player who had the most goals after Hazard in the Premier League was Pedro, with 8.
Of course, losing Hazard is definitely a big blow to Chelsea. He's top notch, and we're definitely going to suffer breaking down defenses. But we still have Willian, we have Pedro, And we have Callum Hudson-Odoi. He was a really good prospect last season, so we expect something from those youngsters to come in.
And there is expectation that Tammy Abraham should be playing this one. There are many reports indicating that he will be starting.
Yes, according to the preseason statistics and how I've been playing, Lampard has preferred him in that leading role over Jude. So I expect Tammy Abraham to start this game.
You expect him to start this game?
Yes.
Jude, I'll turn to you. Chelsea, they may appear blunt, but United was too porous last season. They conceded 54 goals in 38 games. Harry Maguire, £80 million in the United defense, will be donning jersey 5 in a jersey like yours. Huge expectations, right?
Yeah, and actually Rio Ferdinand talked about it. There's so much expectation on him, even at the training ground, his fellow players. His first touch, everyone will want to see what he can offer with that kind of figure. I'm also of the view that it was kind of too much money for him, but I think he's the kind of signing we actually needed, whatever it would take. So I'm actually excited for the new season. We needed those defensive reinforcements because we've been making the wrong signings over the years, but I think this transfer period we've made the right signings. Maguire and Wan-Bissaka in defense. Because last season we conceded more goals than Crystal Palace and Newcastle, and that's really not Manchester United. So, but going back to Chelsea, I think they will not score against Manchester United on Sunday with this reinforcement.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
They're very blunt in attack. I don't see them scoring against us, and we'll nick a goal in there. It will be a close game, but we'll nick a goal in there and win that game.
And where does United get the goals from? With, of course, you look at their issues that have been with Romelu Lukaku. Now, of course, you don't. You look at options in players like Anthony Martial, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood.
Yeah,
who of these can give United 20 goals in a season?
We don't have a 20-goal striker yet. It's 20 goals a season striker yet, but I believe, like last season, we had 4 players with over 10 goals. So I think it will be the same this season.
I'd like to turn to you, Edward. Of course, there's a lot that they said. Transfers, Chelsea banned in the transfer window. You've managed to get Christian Pulisic. Mateo Kovacic has signed a contract now. He's a full-time player with Chelsea, no longer on loan from Real Madrid. Put all that into perspective. There's Jorginho in that midfield.
Yes.
Of course, there's all that is being said that the striking line is pretty much inexperienced. Where do you see Chelsea finishing this season?
I was actually coming to that. I beg to differ from my counterpart here, Jude. I actually think that we are still formidable in attack because we still have very good wingers in Pedro and Willian who have loads and loads of experience going forward. And I would say Ross Barkley has had a very good preseason. Mason Mount has also been showing signs that he's ready to play. Remember, he was with Lampard at Derby County last season and understands his system well. So I believe we're good going forward. And I don't know why people always forget that Olivier Giroud was the top scorer in Europa last season. So people always write him off, and that's how he always comes and proves that he's still a top-notch striker.
A top-notch striker.
Yes.
Okay, you've mentioned Olivier Giroud here. We won't talk the goals as many because we expect both Chelsea and United to at least fire and scoring the goals there. Jude, we've seen coaches come in, coaches unveiled at Chelsea, and their first Premier League games in management are against United. Jose Mourinho in 2004. There's been Avram Grant. There's been Carlo Ancelotti himself. All of them first game against United.
But
what's your prediction?
It's unusual because it's an opening day fixture.
Yes.
Yeah, and United has a good history on the opening day. I expect us to beat Chelsea 1-0.
1-0.
Yeah.
Who'll score that?
Anthony Martial.
Your prediction?
I'll go with 2-1. Our defense is still shaky. I see Ross Barkley and Pedro scoring, and one from Martial.
Anthony Martial.
Yes.
Both of these gentlemen going for Anthony Martial to score in this one. Though on www.betway.ug, the odd for United to win is at 2.17. They are the favourites, by the way. And for Chelsea, it is at 3.42 away from home if they are to pick the first 3 points of the season away from home. For a draw, that I think is as well likely, it is at 3.36. I actually think this fixture is closer to a draw than anything else. But I'll still stick with this gentleman because the Premier League, we've got 380 games beginning this weekend until later on in May, where teams will be, of course, focusing on the Euro 2020 across Europe. I'll stay with you, Edward.
Yes.
Last season, 1 point separates City and Liverpool. Liverpool begin the season against Norwich City. Your prediction for this one?
I believe Liverpool will do good. I think they'll win this because they're coming off a Community Shield defeat. They'll want to prove a point. They're European champions, so they have a lot to prove, and Klopp will be urging his players to hit the ground running in the Premier League. So I expect them to have a clean sweep against Norwich.
And of course, Sadio Mane is returning to the squad. He did return this week at Millwood, and of course, expected to at least have a place on the bench, the latest that we do have ahead of that encounter against Norwich, one of the 3 promoted teams into the Premier League. But Jude, to you, do you think Liverpool can still push Manchester City to the wall like they did last season?
Yeah, and they'll just be that. They'll be bridesmaids again this season.
Interesting.
Yeah, sure. I expect City to win this title again, but of course Liverpool will push them all the way. Liverpool is going to face one challenge. They have so many fixtures coming up around the Christmas period, and with the Club World Cup, which they will win obviously, but they struggled last season. We saw it, that they managed to recover. I think they will struggle once again this season because they haven't had many buys in the transfer season. So they will need many players, and City has a very deep squad. They can afford to rotate, and they're all quality. So that's what will give them the edge.
Speaking of transfers, Man City made a very, very, very crucial transfer that was in the midfield, that position where Fernandinho does play. They did get another name, that is Rodri, who was signed from Atletico Madrid, some huge amount of money. He's in the City squad. He did play actually in the Community Shield against Liverpool last weekend. He's expected to take up the same place again when City visits West Ham. Manuel Pellegrini against his former club Man City. We've seen West Ham, they've signed Sebastian Haller from Frankfurt, one of the big signings, I think about 45 million in the transfer window. Do they have anything, or how much more can they hurt City, including last season? I remember City struggled there.
I've come to believe that the way City has been playing the past 2 seasons, it's going to be very tough for any team to get them, to hurt them that much. City is really balanced. They have a very experienced squad, very many star players. I don't see West Ham hurting them that much, apart from Antonio. Antonio is really good. He can cause them some problems, but other than that, Guardiola really has a very, very strong squad.
It's been a well-oiled team, Man City there, I must tell you. They've just been impressive. The odd for City to win on www.betway.ug. You can't bet on that one, by the way. I have a gut feeling that City will get it the easy way. 1.26 is the odd for City to win, as well as Liverpool. They have a much lighter odd against Norwich at 1.15. But, well, there is a team that as well was in the top 4 business last season. That is Tottenham Hotspur. They went as far as the UEFA Champions League final without signing any single player. This time round, they've made some investment and, of course, made some inclusions in the side. Spurs against Aston Villa this weekend. Spurs at home.
This is the first full season in that new stadium. They have a big signing in Tanguy Ndombele. I think it should be a win for them.
You think they... And the entire season?
Yeah, they'll maintain 3rd place.
They'll maintain 3rd place.
Yeah.
So we have Liverpool. Okay, we have Man City, Liverpool,
Tottenham.
Spurs. Who will finish 4th?
Then United.
Oh, okay. That will be an improvement by 2 places.
By 2 places, yeah.
Your pick, Edward. Is Spurs finishing in the top 4?
No, I'm actually I'll go with City, Liverpool, Chelsea, then Spurs. That's my top 4.
That means there's literally just one change.
There's
in
just
the
one
top 4
change.
from last season. That means United and Arsenal out of the top 4.
Still out of the top 4.
Why do you think so?
I believe Manchester is not so settled as yet. The Lukaku situation is still unsettling the club. Pogba, they're not so sure where Pogba's mind is. He wants to leave. So I believe with that unsettledness in the squad, they won't be so ready to mount a title challenge or even a top 4 challenge this season. Okay,
and well, there is another team that has done some business. It's been talked about who not finish in the top 4, who finish in the top 4. Dani Ceballos makes rounds on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We've seen Nicolas Pepe come in. Arsenal is on the groove. They've done well. They've done some business in the transfer window. By that, remind you that Mesut Ozil now has yellow hair. Are they having a good season? They begin at Newcastle.
I think Newcastle with new owners. I think Arsenal will win that one. They have the firepower up front. We have the top scorer from last season, Aubameyang and Lacazette, and their midfield is also solid. But Arsenal's problems have always been defensive, so they could win this opening fixture, but they will struggle along during the season. And they also have Europa, just like us, so it will take a toll on them too.
They've just let Koscielny leave.
Actually, their big, for me, in my opinion, their biggest loss was Ramsey. He was one of their best players, one of the biggest midfielders in England. To let him leave for free, and a very experienced player at that, it was a big loss for them.
How much of a challenge can Arsenal mount, especially in the race for the top four?
Arsenal has a very good options going forward, but this is the Premier League. You forget you have to have a very good backline. If it was La Liga, I would give them the benefit of doubt, because there you can attack and compromise on defense. But in England, you'll get checked from the back. So if they don't fix up their defense, I don't see them going anywhere this season in the top four.
The odd for Arsenal to win against Newcastle is 1.75, and of course Newcastle's odd to win at home is 4.53. The Magpies went through a lot to survive relegation last season. They did some work to stay aloft in the top flight in England. But still talking the English teams, I must tell you that the Premier League this season has a UEFA Champions League winner, has a UEFA Europa League champion, and Man City, who did a rare treble on home soil in England. Jude, back to you. Chelsea do have another game later on next week. They take on Liverpool. Liverpool had a chance to wrap up there with 4 titles after winning the Champions League. That's the Community Shield, the Champions League, the Uefa Super Cup, and of course the FIFA Club World Cup. Now the Community Shield is out of the way. They take on Chelsea next week on Wednesday in the UEFA Super Cup. Chance to probably recover from the Community Shield proper.
I think that is going to be a good opportunity for them, and they're going to beat Chelsea hands down. I don't see Chelsea getting anything from this game.
You've heard that.
Of course, going into this game, Liverpool are the favourites, but I'll base on the cramp on their players. Their best wingers are coming off African Cup, so they've played a huge number of games. So they're the favourites, but anything can happen.
On www.betway.ug, the favourites for this one, interestingly, are Liverpool. The odd is 1.70. Chelsea's odd at 4.67 if Liverpool is to win the UEFA Super Cup. It's an all-English club affair. Chelsea, the champions of the Europa League last season, and Liverpool, the UEFA Champions League winners after the miracles that they had, especially against Barcelona in the semi-finals. Well, special thanks having you two gentlemen to discuss English football and quite a lot. I know we'll be having you later on the subsequent shows here on the Just Darren show. Well, Jude, thanks for coming through, and as well as Edward from the blue corner Chelsea, from the red corner United. The Blues against the Red Devils. It's the big one proper on the opening day of the Premier League season this weekend. Remember, it's Just Darren.